Thomas, I butchered that intro. I completely butchered it. I had feedback. I had an audio loop going. It was awful. I didn't do anything I was supposed to do. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. No longer Friday Eve, but actually happy Friday.
We finally made it. We made it through the work week. We're all the way through the work week. At times I was thinking we wouldn't. Really thought we wouldn't. It just seemed like this week went for too long.
And it was a short week for many of us too.
That's what it is. The short week. You think it's deceptively short. It actually is longer than a regular week when you have one day off at the beginning. I don't know. We fit more work hours, probably because we took a day off. We have to catch up, right? We have to do more work in the days that we are working, and it just comes back and bites us in the butt. And it just got me on this as we started the live stream.
I gotcha.
Oh man, it's good.
But
Happy
we're here.
Friday to you.
Oh, I'm excited for the weekend. Excited for this evening. We've got some storms moving in the area. Probably, let's see, an hour and change or so, depending on when the stream ends. So that'll be some fun watching to kick off the weekend. I'm excited. I'll have some reporting to do to some locals that love to text me and ask of what's going on. So I'll be doing that.
I got the memo and wore the blue shirt in honor of the rain. So
love it. Although looking over your shoulder, you look like you're going to be okay.
Not a cloud in the sky, really. These ones have moved on.
Yeah, they don't count.
No, it's good. It's good. We got a few people in chat here as well. Ready? I think they're ready to start the weekend. Portland Trailblazers TV was first in chat.
You can own the internet on the podcast, I believe, right? That's a thing.
You should be able to all weekend long. That's the one you want to win.
That's right. You're stuck. Hold your horses. First hurricane of the season. Nope, just a tropical storm at the moment.
First name storm?
What's that?
Is it the first name storm of the season?
It is. Arlene.
Ooh.
Went from a disturbance to depression to tropical storm. So it's got to go. I'm not the most up to date on hurricane action.
This sounds like a girl I dated one time. different name, but the relationship followed the same pattern. So not Mrs. RA, but it rapidly progressed from one to another.
That's it. So next, I believe, would be cyclone. Then we'd go hurricane, but it's entering non-favorable environment, so it's not going to get there. It'll die out by the morning, I'm sure.
Bummer. I mean, it's moving. That's good for everybody, but bummer at the same time because we like the weather.
Right.
We like to have you something to report on.
And it's good. It's moving south too. So the outer bands that are kicking out, Florida's going to see a lot of rain and a lot of wind from it. They're going to see that. But the storm itself is dropping down south. It's going to deadhead and make its way down to Cuba. So no threats. I had some questions from people in Louisiana and whatnot of, is it evacuation time and all that? Nope. We're good on this one.
Yeah. You can ride this one out. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're getting, let's see. Oh, that one's not working. It would help if I'm sitting here watching my replay, my safety shot to make sure everything's working right, and it's just paused. I'm like, it's not working at all. But I fixed that too. Ricky came in and gifted a membership right off the bat. Gave that away to who was it that received that? Do you remember the name? Let me look.
Yes, it was. I do. Oh no, about.
I've got it right here.
Zach Bolton.
Zach Bolton. Congratulations and thanks, Ricky. Appreciate that. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Happy, I guess you can almost say it's Memorial Day weekend still because all the Memorial Day sales are still going on. Have you noticed this? They don't end. They'll probably go for 2 more weeks. Right. I don't know how it works because you don't have like a 4th of July sale that continues through, August. But for some reason, Memorial Day, all the vendors, all the retailers think that they can just stretch this one out, sort of milk it for a few more weeks.
Yeah. I think it just depends on what they have left on shelves, right? And where they're going with it. So, and some retailers might have stuff on shelves longer than others, depending what's going on in certain areas. So, but no, I'm excited for tonight's podcast. Those of you that are here, if you've been tuning into RA's streams for the last 2 days, tonight's going to be a little bit different. If you haven't been tuning in to RA streams for the last 2 days, first, shame on you.
Yes.
But second, as you know, we do funny news stories and headlines and whatnot. We tie in personal experience and whatnot with them, and it's good, fun, lighthearted. I had a thought this week of I had questions about RA and his experiences and what he's thinking now and how he feels now based off of his growth with YouTube and the spectrum of YouTube he's in. And then I thought, I bet a lot of his viewers think the same, or at least I hoped. And I'm thinking, so it transitioned into let's answer some of these questions on a podcast. So some of it's fun and neat. It's not real crazy serious, not dark, not ridiculous, though. So it's definitely a bit of a different format and layout for tonight's podcast, which I'm really, really excited. Um,
I see a lot of people have questions as well. They're putting in the chat, so you have to sort of be scanning for those. I'm going to let you pick them. That was the deal, that you ask the questions. I don't know any of the questions he's going to ask,
no.
unless I just see one in chat. I've had no warning. I've had no pre-show prep. This could be a train wreck. I have no idea where he's going to go with it.
It could be. This could be. Absolutely. And I will do my best to pluck some from chat. Apologies right out the gate. I'm not going to be able to get all of them. We won't be able to answer all of them. We'll be here all night. I'm not going to just pick and choose just favorites or anything like that. I'm going to run through some of the ones I've already picked out that I have made. And then from there, we'll kind of open it up and we'll grab what we can when we see it. So it's a little bit mixed up. And I see some of you have asked if I've gotten your questions already. If you sent them to me in Discord, my Discord has been down for the last 4 days. I'm trying to get that fixed so I can get back in. So if you sent them there, I apologize. I did not get them. So when the time comes, maybe throw them back in chat and I'll try to snag one or two as we go.
Red pen. You can't ask any questions tonight. It's not good for my relationship with my wife when you ask a question, Red pen. No, I look forward to hearing something from you. We'll see what happens.
That's pretty funny.
As far as what I'm thinking,
Squirrel.
Yeah, that's really how it is. I have nothing in my head. I've vacated my thoughts because I just want to focus on this.
Perfect.
So I can't even remember what trial we're covering right now. I'm ready. I'm all here. You have my undivided attention.
I love it.
So fire away.
Let's just dive into it. And there are no real particular order other than they're just kind of following your current career path, and we'll just follow it from there. But so the first question that I had thought of that I want to ask was when you decided that you were going to give YouTube the try and the go ahead, because we know you were looking for a career but none that you loved. And so I said, okay, YouTube, I'm doing it. Was true crime your primary focus right out the gate?
Yes and no. This is a tough one because if you look on my channel, on Recovery Addict channel, it'll show you that I created this channel like 3 years before I started doing true crime. Right. so my first go-to was I wanted to have a metal detecting channel where I would bring my camera with me, and I wanted to have it live. I wanted to have people be able to see live and me dig it and be right there, and they just experience the joy of finding at the same time. It's very expensive to do that. It's a lot of work, and so I ended up having to film and then edit, which I'm not very good at editing. Not that I can't do it, but I just don't get around to doing it when there's other things to do. Right. So metal detecting is how I started out. But there's a big one. But metal detecting was how I started the channel. That's obviously how I named the channel. Recovery Addict, being addicted to recovering artifacts from the ground. But I've always loved the law. I've always loved following the news. I've always loved following crime stories. And this it all sort of fit together. My education in communications and my experience having worked in the news field as well as with police, on doing ride-alongs and Citizens Police Academy and just all that. It sort of all came together. And that when I decided to live stream, other than a few very brief forays just playing video games on the computer with like Farming Simulator, true crime was the first real official give it a go.
Cool. And I thought that might be the case. I knew you had videos uploaded prior off Metal Detect and everything else, but I know that was well, I should say I wasn't in your head. I don't know, but more of YouTube's my go-to now. I'm going to give this my all. So that's why I didn't know where it was going to go and what your choice would be.
I had a couple viral videos before that were on YouTube. The biggest one was a basketball injury where I was the cameraman under the basket and filmed just a bad basketball injury with an elbow that went the wrong direction. And I got the best shot of it. I mean, it was not blocked. I got the sound. Yes, there's sound when your elbow goes the wrong direction. I had it all. And everyone else, the director, everything, they had cut away as it was happening. And here I am holding the shot, but they didn't tell me they'd cut away. So I thought my camera's still live. So I'm holding the shot as this guy's just writhing in pain on the ground. Awful experience for him. He now shares that story with all his students because that ended his career in basketball. It was his second time he had that injury. His career's over. And now he's a history teacher, and he tells all his students to go watch the video. So he's glad there's a video now. And I get the views every school year as he gets a new batch of students that come through and watch the video, and then they share it with people. So that was my first viral video. But yeah, so actually doing live streaming though, I think true crime is the first effort I really gave it a go on.
Well, and you seem to be natural at it. And I think that comes with your background and your knowledge. Like you said, you've got law enforcement experience with friends and or family ride-alongs, things like that. And as you were younger, you were reading law books in the library because you wanted to know the law. And so
I was just a nerd. I could hide in the library, and the teachers, you could slough school and be in the library and no one would catch you. It's like, what student is going to slough school and be like reading a book in the library? Obviously he's doing some assignment. He's there on, detention or something.
right.
You could slough and be in the library, and that, occasionally I may or may not have sloughed school to go to the library to read the code, the laws of the state.
Right. Fair enough. So with being in true crime, and along comes, you've had success, and then you've had rapid success. And with that success comes exposure, right? To many different people and areas and agencies, you name it. With that exposure, did you ever see yourself in a situation where you're covering murder trials and you're having direct conversations and communicating directly with people that are connected? And what I mean by that,
Judge Schroeder.
Well, like the judge, but for instance, yes, you interviewed Solomon, but you had to get on the phone with him prior. You're on the phone with him. Sadie, you're on the phone with Sadie, talking to her personally about things. Nicole Mobley, sorry if I butchered your last name. You're having direct communications with people that have extreme ties to murder trials. First of all, did you ever think that, and how does it feel, and how do you feel about it?
I honestly, no. I will tell you, I didn't think when it comes to the YouTube channel. I didn't know what to expect. I've been around YouTube. I had a YouTube channel from years ago that I post little junk videos on, and they went nowhere. But I didn't really think. I just thought I wanted to try this. And I've got a good friend who I hung out with a little bit online, who was sort of helping me in the job search. And one of the things he liked to say was, everything is figure outable. Right. This isn't rocket science. It's figure outable, and you could probably YouTube it and learn how to do it. Right. And so I took that approach to live streaming and said, this is figure outable. I see other people doing it. I think I could at least do what they're doing. Right. And then, and so I started, and of course I was fortunate enough to have some equipment over some years of doing different failed companies, honestly, video production companies and things like that. I just had enough video enough equipment to put together a live stream and make it look good was important to me. Make it sound good was important to me. But so much of it I just was not ready for and didn't know. And the idea that there would be interviews with people like that, I'd actually sort of be involved in a way and be able to be a platform where someone who I'm interested in following and learning about wants to share their side of the story through the show. It had not even crossed my mind that it would ever get to that point. And I don't consider myself a good interviewer. First of all, to this day, I'm not nervous now because I don't have to ask any questions. This is all on Thomas. So I'm good here.
Right.
But if I had to ask the questions, even if I was doing the same interview to you, Thomas, I would be nervous. I would want to go through the list. I would say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to prep this. I can go from this question to that one. I'm so nervous about that dead air moment where they're like, okay, and now what? And I not have anything. So I feel like I've got a huge supporting crew behind me with the audience,
Yep.
because so much you get into an interview and somebody says, I've got this question. And you're like, that is a good question. First of all, A, why didn't I think of that? And B, I'm definitely going to use that. And so it helps a ton. I don't think I could do this if it wasn't live.
Because you have to just go.
Yeah, like if you hear about the basketball player, like the sixth man is the crowd, right? The crowd is that sixth man on the team, and they make the win possible. This live stream, it could not be a YouTube channel with me just posting videos. The sixth man is so crucial to the success of the program, and it really is what makes the community what it is. I mean, it makes this environment what it is. But yeah, so I depend on them for the interviews 100%. They're also you're where I find contacts. I wouldn't know how to get a hold of Solomon. Wouldn't know how, to have Sadie reach out to me. I wouldn't know any of that on my own. And it's this network of people that want to contribute, and whether it's a question or whether it's a super chat or whether it's something like that, it all comes together and makes this amazing program. It blew my mind, and it still does every day. I come down here like, I don't know how I got here. I definitely don't deserve it. And it's just amazing. It is so much fun to do.
Well, it's so awesome. And you're so right with watching the chat as a mod every day, and the questions that come in, and the curiosity and the connections of people that are spread all throughout the world, really, that are your viewers. But we follow trials in the US. So they're, you've got people in court today of what you're streaming, and they're giving you live feedback, and they've got connections. So with your rapid growth, it's only going to continue, which means these interactions with people are only going to grow. And yes, I think about the interviews and things like that, but where my mind really went is you off air in your living room on your personal cell phone talking to these people and sharing personal information. So that's only going to get bigger. How does that make you feel when you're going to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in your phone book that are directly tied to murder trials or other trials that you are corresponding with?
How does it make me feel, or how does it make Mrs. RA feel? Because they're different. I'll tell you. I will tell you
that, but
let me back up just a little bit, because Mrs. RA, I will tell you, was not a fan of me having the burner phone. And I told her, I've talked to her for many years about wanting to do a YouTube channel.
It's called a burner phone, so I don't blame her.
I said, I want to do something that's different. Okay. I want to have something that the other channels don't have. And I think the ability to have a viewer interact with the live stream is so important. It's not just I'm shoveling out content and people watch it if they want. I want there to be something on both ends, that it's a give or take, and they can interact, and they potentially change the direction the show's going. I said, that's the only way we can build this up. And I still, to this day, I mean, I had a talk with, I told you off the air, I had a talk with a vendor from some hardware, some video equipment that will allow me to take that a step further, because I want people to be able to watch the trial the way they want. So if you want to watch this view of the defendant, I want you to be able to see the defendant. Well, someone else wants to see the prosecutor, I want you to see the prosecutor. And I talked with this vendor and said, why are we showing court cases the same way we've always showed court cases, when there's so much new technology, we could do a better job. And so I've always had that approach to the YouTube channel 100%. And I did that with the phone as well, and having people call and be in contact with, and have people who are going through their own court case, and then saying, hey, just a heads up, I can get you connected to this. RA needs my car keys. She's leaving me. She must have heard what's happening here.
I figured she'd be spying in on this interview after our phone call about this.
I think she just needs to get something out of the car. But yeah, I never thought it would happen. First of all, that I would be connected to people like that, or that it would be, or that anyone would want to really connect. I didn't understand the reach that a YouTube channel has, and how it can grow, and just how big it is. The numbers still are mind boggling. I am a tiny channel when it comes to YouTube. I'm a little speck, and to look at the map and see where we have viewers, and what countries, and what experience they have, and the context they have, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But I forgot the question.
You're small.
Sorry.
You're small in the grand scheme of things of subscriber count, right? That people Google Gaga over. But to all of us, we actually, you're growing, you're a big channel. But when you look at your viewer to sub count ratio, you're actually a very big channel on YouTube.
I'm defying the metrics.
You are. I watch
They're-
WFLA or a couple other channels that have, 250,000, 500,000. And when certain things are happening and I click on their streams just because I'm curious and I'm watching, and your live viewers and chat are almost the same. So you are completely defying the matrix. It's crazy.
It's fun. I don't understand it. I'm sure there's some companies that would want a lot of money to tell me why it's happening the way it is. And
Right.
I don't understand all the answers. But first of all, I'll say the community is, you can't underestimate the impact of the community on this channel.
The best.
It's, you can't take that part out and say, well, what's the secret? Because I think the community is the secret. I think I do some things that help. One of them is making sure I have the best audio I can, even if we're all watching the same court feed. And if I can take a little buzz out of the background, or if I can raise the levels so you can hear a little better, or if I can make the stream just a little bit more clear, and if there's something I could do like that, I think that helps, because it's easier to watch. It's easier to listen to. Yeah, it's fun. I love it. I like to add that little bit, and the community adds everything that they bring, and together it's magic.
Well, and I think from my perspective as a mod watching what you do, you take a lot of requests from the chat and you don't just shush them away. You're constantly adjusting audio, visual. You're taking in those suggestions or requests and trying to improve the experience for the viewer and doing what you can, which a lot don't do. And you don't just have the equipment, but you have the knowledge on how to use that equipment to make that happen. And then ultimately, because you've promoted pickles so much and they're the best, that's
One day, hang on, I dropped my pen and I have to dive for it because it's bugging.
Oh no.
It's the same pen I dropped before. I have all the other pens, but for some reason this one just keeps coming back.
Okay.
The pickles were fun. I honestly don't know where the pickles started.
I wish I remembered, because they became wildfire, absolute wildfire.
It was during Daryl Brooks. It was at the very beginning, and I think I had a sandwich or something, and I mentioned that it had pickles on it, and chat of all the things it had on the sandwich, because there were other things. Chat was like, pickles, boom. So, and the next time I have a sandwich, somebody said, "Hey, does it have pickles?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it does, because it's a sandwich, and sandwiches have pickles," and so it's a fun thing. I like that we have little things like that. Little funny comments on sort of inside jokes that other people can pick up on. It's not like a secret that nobody knows that I like pickles, but I like that we have those on the channel.
Bella, I can't go through the pickle section and not think of Scott's smile. That's
that just makes me smile inside. That makes me happy that anybody walking down the grocery aisle is like, spicy Moogle, good pickles.
So I want to throw one of your viewers in from your stream earlier today. It was last minute. Your outro was already gone. I saw it before I logged off and grabbed it real quick. So I want to insert that before I keep going. And I don't know if she's here or not. I don't think I've seen her in chat, but it's from
watching the replay.
True. So from Carol O'Neill, and I know Cashette saw it. She was going to help her with this too. But it says, recovery addict, if you were a witness in court, and I know the answer to this, but would you wear a shirt and tie? Yes or no? Or suit? Yes or no? And why or why not? A witness, not a juror, not a gallery.
I thought about this a little bit because I saw it right as I shut down. Okay. And I was talking to Mrs. RA about that one. And I said, and I surprised her with my answer. So I might surprise you as well.
I know what you would wear.
I'd wear shorts and a fishing shirt. Just
like I knew it
right now.
I knew it.
And not because I disrespect the court. Okay. But I don't think when you're a witness, first of all, you're not there for your looks. You're not there for your legal knowledge.
You're there
to probably testify in what might be one of the hardest days of your week, month, or year, or even life. Okay. Right. It's not a time to say, I'm going to dress up and be really stuffy and uncomfortable and sweat to death in this 3-piece suit just so that I look good. I'm going to say, I'm going to be me and just be as comfortable as I can. And I'd probably do the same thing as if I was on the jury. Probably not shorts. I think there's some respect there where I'd obviously, I'm not subpoenaed to be there, but the same level of threat is there if you're not there. So, but I would probably be like a dress casual. If I was a lawyer or if I was a defendant, I would wear my best. I would shine my shoes. I would get a haircut every day before court if I needed to, because yes, there. First of all, if I was a lawyer, I'm an officer of the court, and I should show the respect to the court that's due. If I'm a defendant, I'm trying to oppress somebody, whether it's the jury or the judge. I need them to look at me and say, hey, there's a good guy, and he looks good, or at least have that idea.
Right.
So other than that, I'd probably be kicked back, taking it easy. I'm not going to put my feet up on the stand. I mean, there's some protocol things that I would not do as a witness.
Right.
But I'd probably be on the more casual side of witnesses.
So I'm with you. I would want to be more myself as a witness. So I'd be as comfortable as I can be in a nervous situation to answer as honest and as accurate and not mumble and fumble. Right. For me, comfortable would be a golf shirt like this and a pair of slacks. And well, no hat, since I'm
the hat would not.
Yeah, actually,
I wouldn't do a hat in court either.
I'd have to get a haircut and actually do something with my dirty mop and bad hairline.
I'd probably shave too. I haven't shaved for a couple days. I told my wife it was no shave June, but she's not buying that, so I have to shave again.
That's not a thing. Oh, that's funny. Okay,
that's a good question.
So
what would you wear? Stop. You're saying polo shirt, golf shirt?
Yeah. So
slacks.
if I'm a witness, it would be a golf shirt and slacks.
Just jury?
Jury would be the same. Jury and witness would be the same outfit. Just I'm comfortable in that. My old job is when I was a golf pro, I'd wear it every day, whether it was 40 degrees or 110. So I'm used to that.
Okay, so what about if you were a defendant?
Full on tailored suit.
I'm thinking tuxedo, cummerbund, the matching bow tie and cummerbund.
I haven't worn a cummerbund since I was in choir in 7th grade, but no tails. But I definitely would have a well-fitted suit that matched well if I was a defendant, and it would be clean cut, clean shaven, and everything. Absolutely.
I guess
I hate to think about what I'm wearing being a defendant, because I don't want to be a defendant.
Come to think of it, what you're wearing as a defendant might depend on whether or not you have bond or not. If you're out on bail, if you're not, you might be wearing whatever the jail has available for you in their closet.
Yeah, limited resources, right?
Hopefully, I've got enough. Been able to make bail, so I can wear, I don't know, wear my kilt, my Scottish kilt. That would be awesome. Walking with the Prince Charlie, the tuxedo jacket with the silver buttons and the heels with the metal clickers on the heel. Just
yes.
I could do that.
So my next one's a little bit heavier.
Mm-hmm.
It requires a little bit more thought and insight. Nothing drastic, but as we've all seen, as we've all followed, trials can get emotional, and certain trials trigger certain emotions in different people. One trial can be more emotional for you, whereas I'm numb to it, vice versa, or we're both emotional to it. And as your viewers and myself have seen, there's been a few trials, especially during certain closings and whatnot, that you've shown your emotion on camera. You weren't scared to hide it. You let it play out, and you let yourself be real on camera. That's real, genuine emotion. And a lot of people in chat feel that same emotion. A lot of people have to step away during certain times because it's triggering things from the past or the current, or it's just a thing that hits their heart really heavy. It's happened to me as well. But you're not scared to show that on camera and let it be real. When your live stream ends and you take these headphones off and set them down, and you're away from your computer, and now you're a father and you're a husband, and it's dinner time and it's homeschool time, what do you do to separate yourself from the experience you just felt and saw and were under, to now go be the family man and be strong and not let it kind of kick you a little bit for the next hour or two in your night, when now you're trying to give your last evening hours to your family?
This is a heavier one. Great question, by the way. My kids have so much interest in what I'm doing. They would love to sit down and watch me live stream every day, which we don't let them do, obviously, with a lot of the content. We're family friendly, but it's really not kid friendly to, I don't want to steal a kid's childhood by letting them know that some parents kill their kids, and there's some bad people that really just want to hurt other people out there. That's not that's not right. But within the scope of what we can, I like to share with my kids, and I just a quick idea of what I'm doing. And so they'll say, "How's your live stream?" type thing, and they'll ask the questions,
Right.
and so I like to share a little bit if I can, but it's some. I will say that live streaming for me is not work. So it's easier for me to step away. It's not like finally I've got that weight off my shoulders type thing.
Right.
Just live streaming, being here and interacting with chat, I could do it for 12 hours straight if I didn't need to sleep, because it is so much fun. It doesn't drain me emotionally. Directly the live streaming part, when we have a case, say like we had the Parkland shooter victim impact statements, and it's just like it hurt. I didn't know anyone there. I don't know anyone who's directly related to that, but I do feel emotion when I feel sympathy for people. I feel, in some cases, empathy for people, and it hurts. It's heavy. I think being able to show emotion helps. If I were holding it in, it would be something I'd be carrying with me after work to my family.
Right.
But we do try to dedicate time for the kids. Hugs as soon as we're done. The kids, they'll open the door and look, and they'll peek in and they'll look to see if the live button's on the screen behind.
Right.
And when it's not, they're like, hugs. It's just like, hey, now we can come in. And it's so I like to have the dad's home moment. Yay. With the kids. I think that's important.
That is important.
Did I answer it all, or was there a part that I sort of skirted around?
No, you absolutely answered it perfectly. Because I know it's a hard one. There's a lot of jobs and careers and things out there that people take home with them, and it's hard, right? And a lot of times your mind in that regard goes immediately to, say, first responders or armed services, things like that, right? There's some people in other industries and other worlds that would laugh at me asking you that question, right? As you stream YouTube and cover trials for, but it's real. Because like I said, we've seen it in chat, and you have not been scared to show it on your channel when it's hit hard.
I will say, as an extension of that, if I can, not every trial reaches me like that. I mean, we've listened to some heavy stuff, and I've been able to listen to it and just absorb it, and it's heavy,
Right.
but it hasn't been as impactful. But I've become a lot more mindful of the community, because in almost every situation, you realize with the numbers we have and the people that are involved, almost everyone has some sort of experience with a crime that happened against them, against their family, or they were involved in some way. And so there's so many people that it does hit. And for me, it might be something that's like, oh, that's sort of lighthearted. It might even be some humor in it. And for somebody else, it's like, this hits too close to home. So I've been a lot more mindful of that, and it has changed a little bit how I interact with cases, just out of respect for people that might be listening and lurking and saying, wow, this sounds like my story.
Right.
And so I'm just a little cautious with that now.
It makes sense. I get it. I've got another question. This is actually kind of ad lib here. It just hit me. It's not on my list because it affects me too. So I want your opinion. How has where you are now doing your streaming with this channel, with this community, changed you as a person? Because I know it has.
Oh man. I will say, just on the surface, the first thing, being out of work, being unemployed as a parent, as a father, is very demoralizing. It's a heavy weight to carry. We were fortunate enough to have been in a good spot financially, so we could survive off our savings as it dwindled away, and so for the kids there was no real impact. For 7 months we're able to, the same, shopping didn't change. We still got the same food, we still bought the same stuff, we were still able to, occasionally go out and do a little something neat with the kids, but the weight of it was getting heavier and heavier. And once I started live streaming and it picked up, and this is something I wanted to do, and my wife was 100% behind me, just saying, do it. This is something you want to do. Throw your whole weight. I will support you. I'm saying, okay, the first month of being monetized, I earned $125, and that doesn't pay any bill. But it was so inspiring to say, hey, I can do this. I can make this a job. That hope that came from that it changed me. It's like, I can do this. This is something that not just is possible, but is probable. And it's more than possible. It's higher than that. It's a greater probability. It's like this, the math checks out. Okay. There's a future here. I don't have to worry about, not being able to find a job, and we have to sell the house and move somewhere else. And it all, I think that was the biggest change, is the change to me personally, with the fact that, hey, I work now. I'm earning, I'm providing for my family again.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's I love SW's comment right here. It's RA. What's meaningful to me is that you've built an interactive and kind community rather than a show. And that is, I've never even thought about that way, but it's so spot on. This doesn't seem like a big production when you're doing your live streams, although you've got a lot of really cool attributes that kick in, that everyone gets to play with them and again, be interactive, but everyone feels a part of it, not on the outside of, I'm just logging in and sitting back to watch. People are more sitting forward on their keyboard, unless it's on the big screen and they're just kicked back, taking it easy. But
I will say that is what I love the most about this channel and the community. And it's also one of the biggest challenges as I face, because I do want to grow. I want to, I want to not just be able to pay my bills each month, but I'd like to, be able to repair some of the things on the house that really need to be repaired. One day I want to get a new roof. So, it's been
Right.
up there for 30 years. So through, I don't know how many hurricanes, it needs to be replaced. And so there's goals like that I want to do. And so doing that would involve the channel growing, but at the same time, that closeness, with the community and just everyone feeling at home and feeling a part of it, it's hard to do. On a big, you have the end of a big trial day, a verdict day, and you have thousands of people in chat. Many of them have never been there before. How do you hear all the voices and say, I hear you, I see what you're saying, that's an interesting point, let me answer that, when chat is scrolling so fast that you can't even click. And it's a challenge. I wish I had a better solution, but it's something that's foremost in my mind to preserve that, because I love that part of
Right.
the show. The community
Right.
is more than a show. It's real. It's a connection, and there are real people on the other end who are part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. So as I mentioned, that was an off the cuff question. I didn't really have it in my script, but something triggered me with it. So if I could share my opinion on that as well,
Yes, please.
not of you, but of myself.
Mhm.
So as I started watching your channel and then ended up becoming a mod, I have many, many faults. Two of them are I'm very judgmental and very stubborn. And
I
it's
don't see either of those, honestly.
well,
I've,
well, I,
in all my interactions with you, and you're humble. Those are your faults. Seriously.
so I guess maybe I hid them very well, or
Mm.
maybe over time, this channel has really changed me, especially my stubbornness. As a mod, I can't just disagree with someone and want to hide their comment because I don't like it. I can't get in there and just argue to my wits of my points forever. It's not the way it really works. So outside of trying to honor your channel and your view, that also I started to actually learn because I was reading comments and conversations that I did not agree with, but I was starting to slowly learn why those individuals felt that way because of other life experiences they had versus what I've experienced, right? We all shape our opinions and our thoughts and our beliefs generally based off of life experience, whether our families have put us there, or whether we personally ran into something. So it really put me in the back seat for a minute and I slowed myself down and started to listen and read the chat and why they felt that way or where it was coming from. And honestly, ending up being a mod and a part of this community, this channel, and this chat has brought me from someone that I didn't really love in certain areas to now I feel like I'm in a much better place because of so many people in the community. I've learned a whole lot. I've learned to respect others way more than I did and be more open and listen to it. I still may not agree at the end of the day, but I'm not as harsh or as judgmental or stubborn as I once was. And I think that's kind of actually helped me in my personal life in areas too. So this
That
channel has really affected me in a personal way, which is really crazy to think about and say, but it has.
that is cool. I've seen a couple people in chat that say that, and I'll even say there are a couple people in chat on this channel that I've seen in other channels, and I associate with in other channels that are different on other channels. Like when I'm here, I'm a better person type thing. And I would say I would chalk that up to the community, not to me, because the community is so good about welcoming people. I mean, somebody walks in the door, and clicks the like button or the subscribe button, and it says so and so has been admitted to being an addict. Please welcome them. I thought that would be a funny way to just recognize somebody, but the community does reach out and welcome and say, "Hey, we're glad you're here. Join us. You're one of us. We like the same things. Right. You're our friend now." And the response they get from that moment, it changes the next message they would have typed a minute later. Okay, as soon as they can talk, because you have to be a subscriber for 1 minute to talk on my channel. Right. It's not a high bar, right? But the next message, they might have come here to throw something out and to be like, "Hey, I just want to say," and the first thing they get in that first minute is, "You're welcome here. We're glad you're here. Thanks for coming." Yeah. And suddenly it's like, "Hey, cool, glad to be here. Tell me a little about it." Right. The community is really what drives that, and I've heard that from a couple people say, when I'm here, I'm a little more cautious with what I say, and I think a little bit before I type, or and maybe some of the opinions, my stronger held opinions, I keep to myself a little bit more instead of sharing, and listen more. So that's awesome.
And I agree, the community, it's all there, but
and the mods,
you started it.
You, CG, Samantha, Abby, Tish, we've got a whole list of mods. I think 12 right now.
Yeah, we're at 10 to 12, I believe.
And some of them are able.
Laura,
some are able to 6 volt. Some of them are able to be on longer than others, and some are just able to come in a little bit. But I had no clue how to run a YouTube channel. Like zero. And I had people reach out to me saying, just FYI, I first of all, I see your channel, I see it's growing. You're going to need help. I'm like,
right.
With what? It just happens. It's just growing. And they're like, no, this is something, this is what you're going to see. And you need some help here. Do you want some help? And some great people reached out, probably many more than I could use right now. And there are so many people, and they said, here's, let me help, let me volunteer. And you and many other people have volunteered and just have made me a much better content creator and YouTuber, and a better person, honestly, and made me just open my eyes to what this really entails and what it could be and what I have to watch out for. So I could not do this without mods as well. Chandra, thank you. CG, you're amazing. We've got so many mods here tonight that some of them are up in the middle of the night. I mean, I'm here in the US. It's 8:40. When I go to bed, my kids are still up. Okay, and I'm done. Others are in all over in Europe. It's early hours of the morning, and they're up here in chat, being nice to people and answering questions and helping newcomers, and filtering out the random troll that wanders in, and it's just, I could not do it without the mods. Like, that you can't build a channel like this without an amazing group of mods.
Well, I agree with what some of the other mods have been commenting. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you and your kindness and your generosity. And when there's a tough stream is done, you're the first one to pop in and say, thank you, I couldn't do without you, and et cetera, et cetera. So, but it's that we love and support you in the channel and everything you do as well. But we also love the chat and the people in chat.
They're family.
They are.
Yes.
They are. Whether they're old or new, it doesn't matter. When they come in and it interacts all the same, we want to make sure their questions are answered. They're here. They're comfortable. They're there. And then when, the random troll comes in and it's creating nuisance, we want them gone and out to not disrupt those that enjoy the channel and experience. Again, whether they're here for a day or they've been here since day one, as long as they're here to enjoy that experience. So,
that's cool.
Absolutely.
You guys are amazing. Thank you. Let me just take this moment, not just to thank the mods, but to thank all the community. I say this to individuals, but to every one of you, it would not be the same without you. This is a team effort, a group effort, and you guys make it happen. So I'm proud to be associated with you.
That's awesome. Like Ola says, who's us? I think it's everybody. Ola's one of your OG subscribers.
Oh yeah.
Forever, and has contributed with information and insight. that's what's so fun. It's not even just mods. There's other people that chime in and answer questions and give insight and are informative and are polite and welcome people. That's what makes it so awesome. So, um, following a little bit off script there, but that it's important that the whole community is really fun. It's fun to be a part of. Absolutely. Um, so I'm going to jump away from, I've got one more question for you, but I'm going to dive into a different one. Ruser Chris World Network has asked this question earlier today and a few times in chat. And it says, I have a question that what is the best way to help grow videos on YouTube and or just get your channel really started? What advice would you give someone in that situation?
This is funny because I asked ChatGPT the same question. Okay, the great AI in the sky that can answer any question, and it had some interesting things. But I would say from my experience, the best thing you can do is to pick a genre you love. Okay, it doesn't have to be something that's huge, but to pick something that you absolutely love, that you can talk about for 2 hours straight without anything, without prompts, to just find something that means so much to you, that you've had a lot of experience in, that you just love. Pick that genre and be consistent, be frequent and consistent in your postings, in going live. And I would say going live helps, because it's fun to find a channel that has some neat content that you watch occasionally. But if you go live, you get instant feedback from a community. And if it's not resonating with your community, with other people who like that same topic, you're probably going to get some ideas pretty quickly. They'll probably tell you, they're like, hey, your audio sucks type thing. And you're talking about radio stations and music. You probably need better audio. They'll give you that honest feedback, and it can be a little rough and a little raw.
And quick.
And very quick, quicker than you're ready. Yeah. But I'd say the first thing to do is find a channel. Start before you're ready. Start before you're ready. So a lot of people want to have, they might look at this, this setup here and say, when I have all these parts, that's what I need. Give me all the list of parts, and then I'll be able to make a YouTube channel. But the all you need is this right here. And most people have a phone that can do it, and you can set it up with a little tripod, try to make it nice and steady so it's easy to watch, make it nice and straight, have good lighting, and go live before you're ready, and do your first live stream and talk about it and be sincere, and then make another one and go live again, and try to find, you can find occasions, like if you're interested in tech, you might want to go live the same time there's a big tech convention, where a lot of people are going online saying, I want to see videos about tech right now, or I want to look for something around Christmas time, tech. So you look for that moment when it's big. So like I went live during Daryl Brooks. That was big. It really helped a ton. I can't underestimate that. But go live before you're ready, and as soon as it starts progressing, try to make every stream a little bit better. And I wouldn't say like spend $1 million, go into debt or anything, but make it a little bit better. For me, I would say the first thing you want to improve is your audio. Make it so it sounds better. Make it so people can hear you better, and it's an easier experience to listen to. Because although YouTube is a very visual experience, audio is more important than video.
Right.
But do that, and just be consistent in what you're doing. Reach out, try social media, find ways to get that initial attention, build real relationships with people when they come on the channel. Remember who they are, remember their stories, remember their pets, remember what they're going through. If the people are willing to share a lot online, for being, just a stranger on the internet, and recognize that that's them being open and honest. And if you, in return, give something back, you can build a relationship, and they'll come back and they'll tell their friends, and they'll say, hey, I found this place that I really like, and they talk about tech that I'm really interested in. You'd like it too. Right. And they bring your friends, and that's how it works.
That's awesome. That's what an answer. I'll piggyback on that, because my channel is so young and in its infancy. And speaking with you and Michael Harris, offline, it's do it. Go make 50 really bad videos. just get going. Don't wait, which I'm well behind on, but I've made a few and put them out there. And I hate the videos that I've put out there. But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep making more, but in just, I think I maybe 10 videos at most. I learned so much in just 10 videos that I remember calling you. I'm going to change this. Okay. Now I know what to do in the future. And I did not want to make those first 5. I was terrified. I was nervous, but I'm so glad I did it. And I can't wait to go make more. So that advice, just to go do it before you're ready and get it out there and just let it happen, is so spot on. Because if you, and Michael Harris didn't tell me that, I probably still would not have one video up yet. Because it is scary. You're exposing yourself to the world and to criticism, which most people, I don't like criticism. I hate when I see you're terrible. It's going to happen though, and you have to get used to it. But you get better and better and better, and you enjoy it as you improve at it. So I love that advice. That's great.
I actually, I hated the way I looked. I hate seeing myself in pictures. I hated seeing myself in videos, and I hated hearing my voice. I've told this before. I went to school for communications, electronic media, for news production, and basically the classes are geared towards the anchor, the reporter, the on-screen talent. They're not really teaching you to be the guy behind the scene that plugs in the cables. But I weaseled my way around every possible assignment I could. I went through that entire degree. I got my degree with almost never being on camera, with never being the talent on air, being the guy in back. Every project I would figure out. I hated it.
Right.
Absolutely. I hated it. I hated hearing myself. Anytime I was on camera, I wouldn't want to even watch the screen because first of all, my nose turns up and it looks like a pig. And I'm like, everyone's going to see my nose and it looks funny. And my voice is too deep and it sounds, but no, these are things that my entire life, I've hated things about myself, and live streaming is just like, you know what? I am what I am. There are some things I can't change. Okay. And I'm just okay with that.
There's a lot
I've got
can't change.
Finally, after 40 some odd years, I'm finally accepted some things about me that I can't change. But at the same time, the things that I can change, I can make better, and I can do a little bit better every single stream. And that's the part I focus on. So it's if there's something about you don't like, if you can't change it, try to get to the point where you're like, just accept it and say, this is me. Okay. This is, people aren't going to look at me and say his nose looks a little funny. That's not going to be the focus. They might. And if they do, that's all right. If you're here to just look at my nose, I love you. Thanks for being here. It's awesome.
Well, it is now because you brought it up.
Yeah, now everyone, there's going to be memes, Facebook posts. It's going to be enlarged. Right. It's like Pinocchio. Pictures of me are going to be all over the place. But really, look past those things in your own life. If you want to do this, look past the things you can't change about yourself and just be you on the channel. And I think that your personality is so important, where so many people are fake online, where so many people, they have the Instagram perfect. This is my life. I always wake up like this type of thing. That's not how we live. That's not how anyone lives. We'd love it if every day was wake up and dive out in the pool, in the balcony pool, and swim as the sun's coming and dolphins are swimming by. That's Brandy's life. That's not mine. She has an amazing life on the beach. And I'm super jealous. But most of us don't have that. Most of us wake up and there's something broke overnight, and a sink's leaking and toilet's plugged, and the car needs a repair that we hadn't planned on paying, and this is life. Okay. And if you bring that personality with you in what you're doing, and then just be consistent, I think you'll find that it resonates with people, that they say, this, I listened to this, and not that I listened to someone else's life and it's so bad I feel better. Okay. Sometimes that happens, right. But I listened to this and it's like, you know what? Bad things happen. Tough situations occur. Everyone has this, has something they're dealing with, and I can get through my challenge today, knowing that somebody else is getting through their challenge, and it just gives me hope.
The most valuable things in life are authentic. So whether that's, things collected from the past, whatever it might be, or just yourself, right? People appreciate that you're a value to them in their lives if you're just an authentic human being. And we can be authentic to ourselves, and we're all way different. That's what makes it super cool and enjoyable. But there was a quick comment that I pinned it and then removed it, but I want to grab it. It was from Debbie Blair, and it said, "How did you two meet?" And I'm assuming it was us.
Yeah.
So, right here.
Yes. I don't know how you found our channel, Thomas. I don't know what you were doing on YouTube, what rabbit hole you had gone down. And suddenly you ended up here instead of watching, reruns of Ryan Hall or whatever it was you had started doing. Okay.
Right.
But honestly, there are a couple people early on. Thomas is one of them. Matthew Harris also. There are a couple of people early on that were very influential for me, and not only came over and said, "Hey, this channel's great. I'm excited for you. Like, happy to be here. I'll see you tomorrow." But actually reached out and said, "Hey, how can we help? We've got some suggestions." They looked and they saw my first videos. They were crap, and there were things I was doing that was just, it's like, this isn't going to fly. Maybe you need a little guidance. We've been there a little bit in some areas. Matthew said, "Hey, I know a lot about YouTube. I know a lot about building a channel." And Thomas reached out with advice as well. Thomas, the podcast was your idea. But people like that reached out and said, "Hey, let me help a little bit." And it's meant everything. It's been awesome. CG keeps asking this question. Make us an Elaine emoji. I don't know what emoji I would use for Elaine. CG, let me think about that.
The pixels are too small, so you can't get Elaine off of Seinfeld.
I've got 48 by 48
Yeah,
pixels.
it would just come out like a black blob, like a wig, so it wouldn't come out. But that's funny. But yeah, found you really early. I don't exactly remember. I mean, you popped up obviously in the recommended, and I clicked it. It was Daryl Brooks, and I didn't stop watching from there. And then I forget how I sent a message or two, and we communicated. And then I remember there was a few downtimes, breaks and whatnot, and you allowed me to come on and do a weather skit when there was severe weather in areas. And you're like, "Oh, yeah, here's my Zoom link. Come on in." And you didn't even really know me. You didn't know if I was going to sabotage your stream or not. You just said, "Let's do it."
I was holding my breath. I had my finger for the first couple of guests. I'm talking Nicole. I see you out there. I did this for you as well. Nicole Goodman, Matthew Harris, Weather Watch, anybody, and honestly, everybody. When I first started taking calls on the burner phone, I was, every time I'd answer the call, I'd be like, "This might be the call where someone says the word that shuts down the channel. This might be it." Type thing. I'm like, I can shut this volume down so fast.
Right.
And I was nervous, but I really discovered very quickly this is an amazing community, and the number of people out there that are just trying to cause problems are very small, and they haven't found the community yet.
Right.
This is a little safe space. They just don't feel like they belong. That the trolls that try to walk into chat and try to stir things up, it doesn't work here for some reason. The community just says, "Hey, that's not us." The mods here are just on it. Homeschool Ground Zero has just gifted a membership. Yay! My wife has a membership now. Thank you very much.
That's phenomenal.
Who gifted those?
Jay Reno.
Jay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I forgot the question.
No, you nailed it, and you were wrapping it up. But the biggest thing, the community is a huge filter. So you're right. When people come in and try to disrupt it, it doesn't last long. It's
like a self-righting ship.
It really is. It's incredible.
It's amazing to watch, and the mods. I see this because we have a mod chat where the mods can talk to each other, and just cover and say, "Hey, I'm not going to be here today," or, "Hey, can you watch this for a little bit?" or "What do you think about XYZ?" So I can watch that chat as it's going on, and someone might come in and try to cause trouble, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And the community just takes care of it. I'm like, "Oh, it's resolved. They got it. It's good." Bill, congratulations. My wife got a membership too. She's I don't know what color her courthouse is. I'd have to look.
Let's see. She's
it's not accurate because she's been supporting me since long before I had membership.
Before courthouses were a thing. She was there. So I want to loop one back to your true crime YouTube career here.
Mm-hmm.
This is not deep, but hard, in my opinion.
Okay.
At least you might like slam dunk.
I almost cried last time, but go ahead.
I actually saw it sparkle in your eyes from your lights while we were talking about it. This one's not an emotional one. So I'm a fan of this question, and I hope you haven't thought about it in the past, and it's just a flunk. But if you could sit down with any one of the defendants in the trials you've covered to this point, who would it be? And you can ask them one question, and what would that question be?
Oh man.
That's hard because there's probably 5 defendants you'd want to sit down and you'd have 10 questions for each. So I'm not doing you any favors here.
I will say I've learned that in every trial, there's so much that gets unsaid. There's so much evidence that did not get brought in. There's so many, even mitigating factors that just the judge would rule is not admissible, whether it's just our court rules or whatever. There is so much around a court case that we never hear.
Yep.
And that part fascinates me. And it probably frustrates the defendants, honestly.
Yeah.
I would say if I could talk to Dean Cummings.
I knew that was your choice.
And I would ask him, why in the world did you say, yes, I want to be on the stand? Why would you testify in your own defense when mathematically every lawyer will say, no, it's the worst possible thing you could do. Don't testify in your own defense. Why did you say yes? And it was the best decision I think you could have made. There's somebody who sat in jail for years, I think, on a murder charge, and was found not guilty. Was the jury basically said that was self-defense. But to be able to have the composure for years to hold his head high and say, I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell my story, and I'll take all the questions from the prosecutor who wants to tear me apart. And she was a bulldog. That would be so insightful. What gave him the strength to do that? I think that would be my number one question.
That's a good. I knew you were going to go with Dean. Before we keep going, I can't see him in StreamYard. Cache.
We're getting some people. Tag. I can pull it up on mine. Let's see.
Cachette gave out 5 memberships, and I can't pull it up on StreamYard.
Hang on. It looks really bad right now because I haven't done this, but we got Tag as well. 5 months, peeps, time to gift, she says. Tag, next month you get a new color courthouse. Tag. That is so exciting. We had Jay Reno as well as Cachette gifted 5 memberships as well. Thank you so much, Cachette. I think Cachette had a lot of questions. Did you get those earlier?
So I didn't. I have one primed and ready from her, and I actually like this one.
I think there was one more membership given out as well. Let me see if I can scroll back. Tag gifted a membership as well.
There we go.
I have to put it on my side. I don't know why it doesn't show up in StreamYard.
StreamYard doesn't let us know when that happens, so I can't put this up there. So I missed those. I apologize to y'all because it didn't come up on the software we're using for it. So yeah, Cachette, she has a 2-part question, one of which we know the answer to because we touched on it earlier. But so I'll jump to that one first. But it was, what was Mrs. Ari's first reaction to you deciding to become a YouTuber? And obviously, you said it was extremely supportive. And
I cannot believe. I think honestly, at that point, she saw in me the early signs of depression. Honestly, that I was giving up on the job search. It's like after 7 months of looking for a job and nothing, and there were some. I had some strict there's a word I'm going to say, criteria. There it is. I had some strict criteria for my job. I wanted to stay in the same field I was in. I would tell you, I thought that was the best job I've ever had, what I was doing before, and I was a systems engineer was my official title, and I loved it, or I thought I did. I hate it compared to how much I love this. But I think she saw in me that I was losing my desire to even look for a job anymore. And when I went to her and said, hey, I want to do this, she's like, good, you want to do something, here, let me support you, go do it. Just do something right now, because you need to do something. Right. So she was just incredibly supportive. And even though, it was months before that first $125 came in, she was supportive and said, that's fine. She bore a heavy burden during that time. First of all, the only reason we made it through that time was because of her ability to budget and plan and see the future and say, hey, we need to prepare for this, knowing that the job was going away. But yeah, she was incredibly supportive. I married up, and I've got the best wife in the world. That's pretty much the answer to that question.
Well, what you didn't know when she saw that and said, go do something. She didn't mean go set up a desk in the house. She meant go, go do something.
She
And
did
so,
not know how it would work. I think she just wanted me to do something that I wanted to do, just um, to not just wilt into nothing.
right.
But even a month or two in, even $125 in, as far as when it finally got monetized, she still was like, how does this YouTube thing even pay? How do we go from right here to you paying the bills? Because I'm not seeing it.
Right.
And I said, I don't see it either. I don't know exactly how, but I know it's possible. I know we can do this, and I know it's figure outable, and I can do it.
Yeah.
And she had the support to say, okay, go ahead.
Which is so awesome. Uh, so part two, they kind of go together from Cachette. It's when and how was the RA Cave / your studio created? Was that day one? Did you go in there and set it, or how did that come about?
This was the schoolroom. This
Okay.
my left side over here, which is your right, has two almost floor to ceiling bookshelves
Okay.
full of school books that are all color coded, sorted, that my wife uses in homeschool. The closet between the two bookcases was full of homeschooling tools, science tools, math books. Um, this was my shelf over here is covered with it's like encyclopedia of children's books. This was the schoolroom, and
That's
I
awesome.
kicked them out and I said I need a room, and every room in my house is the exact same size because whoever designed this had zero imagination or planning for the future. So every room is the exact same size pretty much, and this one was the only one that wasn't spoken for. So it's not the front room. It's not we have a living room and then like a formal living room, which sort of has become the schoolroom, and then a dining room. This is the only place it could be, and it's not optimum. It's the worst. I had cables stretched across the house. The internet cable was stretched across the house for months, like through the kitchen, across the hall, in front of the stairs. I eventually bought covers for the cable, like cable runners, just because it's like,
Yep.
and the cord needs to be there. I don't have internet over here if we don't. But what was the question? How did this become the room?
Yeah. And
Was
and
it,
when, like, how soon into you doing YouTube was that the choice? And then how long did it take to create, say, the green screen, the camera setups? I mean, because it's pretty dialed in. Everyone now, everyone appreciates your behind the
this
scenes camera, your face on. So
this was my first setup. This was I have not changed anything.
just one and
I
done.
had the green screen from a project I did from a youth activity where
Okay.
I wanted to interview people and then change the picture behind them. So I had the sheet from that. The lights we had from that as well. The TV actually belonged in the formal dining or formal living room, sitting room, and I stole that. Our computer right here that's in front of me, that used to be over there as well, and I stole that, and the families just had to do without a computer because I need it for the live stream, or else I
Right.
don't get your chats. The families really made a lot of sacrifices to make this happen, but they were able to adapt with using iPads and things like that, and eventually I've commandeered some of those as well. So
Of course.
we
Of
probably
course.
need Homeschool Ground Zero to answer some of these questions, but it's the studio has evolved a little bit. Mostly the desk is just more and more full of equipment, and now I have like an extra soundboard trying to make the whole right left audio work from today that I don't even have space for. But
Which is fair. Mrs. RA and well, and both of you are both getting a lot of love in chat right now.
she's amazing. She deserves it.
Let's see. So we've got a couple more here.
Mhm.
Um, my questions so far are pretty much over, but since we're on the subject right now, Portland Trailblazers TV threw in earlier. How long have you and Mrs. RA been married?
Sorry, is in chat, so I probably better get this one right.
That's why this one's fun for me and everyone else.
Well, I will tell you that it's actually easier for me to remember this number than anything else because we were married in 2000. So we've been married. I just have to look at the last two digits of the year, and that's how long we've been married. So we've been married for 23 years. Nailed it. First try.
Cheat codes. That first try sounded like your don't go. Also,
Lewis Cox, thanks for gifting a membership. Appreciate that.
cheat codes are important.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I've got on my docket for the evening for the interview.
All right. I think some went by in chat. If we want to answer a couple of those.
They did.
Mrs. R.A.
I'll let you pluck out a few that you see. Mm-hmm. I actually have to step away real quick and kick my air back down because I'm burning up here. So
I made him turn his air off. I said, "What's that noise in the background? It sounds like a fan." He's like, "Yeah, that's my AC because I live in Texas and it's summer." And I said, "Well, turn it off because it's the podcast." And he did. so the beads of sweat coming down Thomas's forehead are because of that. Turn your air on. Yeah, do that.
Vent was hitting the mic and that's no good. And we're getting started. So we changed it, but I'm going to bump it up a few. So if you want to pluck a couple questions, and I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So now's the good time to ask them. If you asked before, ask again, and I'll see if I can, it'll be easier for me to find a new question. I wanted to know, here's one. Let's see. Red Pen says, I wanted to know if you've ever had to sleep on the couch. No, I have not. Homeschool Ground Zero, Mrs. R.A. has never made me sleep on the couch. Although I think she probably had several occasions where she probably should have and been in the right to do so, but she's never made me sleep on the couch. That's a good question. Let's see. Britta Aller says, where are you originally from? Britta, I like to say I'm an island boy. I grew up initially on an island. That island happened to be in a river in Logan, Utah, but it was an island nonetheless. I grew up mostly in Utah in various different parts. Intermountain West was home. Still have a lot of family there in Texas, in California. Just around most of my family's out west. I'm definitely the furthest east of all my family. Let's see, where do you see yourself in the channel in 1 year, and how about 5? Cachette, I was talking with this rep from actually the company's called LiveView today. They make this piece of hardware that I bought. They had called me. They didn't know that I had bought it last week, and so the manufacturer called me. I had talked to a reseller and bought the item. And they called me saying, we'd like to see if you want to work with us to, with your YouTube channel and see if some of this hardware will work. Because I'd love to. I've actually already bought it and it's paid for it and waiting for it to arrive. But I had to talk with her, and there's some things I want to do on this channel too. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I want to change the way people watch true crime. I want to make this experience something that's that they get to watch it the way they want to see it. Not as opposed to the way, whoever's switching the video, now you get to see this camera. Now you get to see this camera. I want you to be in control, and I want you to be able to really have a say on how you view it. So that's my idea. Doing that costs a lot of money, but this company reaching out to me and wanting to find content creators that have a vision for that might make that possible well before I'm able to afford the equipment, because they have honestly already said on day one that they would like to, if needed, I could borrow something and test something before I buy it, which would give us an opportunity to really to make some changes. I think that's fun. That's something I've always had an idea for the channel. I want it to be different. I want it to be good. I want it to be better than what other places you can find, and I want it to give you an experience you haven't seen before. So I hopefully will. I'm not sure if we could do that in 1 year, but I hope it's not 5. I don't want to wait that long. Great question. Did you see any other questions here? Let's see, what were you counting on the screen today? I grade you. We were counting curse words on the screen. This trial, there was a moment that we thought, okay, this number is going to go high. And as soon as we started counting, they really dialed it back, which I'm fine with. I mean, we don't need curse words. I think it's actually, as far as communication goes, being able to communicate without cursing is a benefit to being able to have a good conversation with people where everyone listens and participates and learns. But we do count that just because it's like, you probably won't hear me say them, but we do count them when other people do.
Well, my favorite part of that too was a few of them when one would slip and they'd, sorry. They had the awareness they go, not appropriate, but oops. Let's see.
I love the message of this week's podcast. So happy I found the RA channel and love the collaboration, the friendship I see every Friday. Here we're working together, make us better people. Linda, thank you so much. Kind words. I appreciate that. Not all, the credit doesn't go all to me, but thank you. Appreciate you sharing that.
Very kind.
What part of North Carolina are you in? I'm in what they call Eastern North Carolina. And if you were to take on in North Carolina and draw, just put a star on the map anytime there's something really cool, a big city, beach, major attraction, something like that. Put all those stars on the map and then find the one place that's an hour and a half from all of those. I'm right there. I'm an hour and a half from all the cool stuff in North Carolina. But any direction I go, there's something cool to do. And traveling distances has really changed being in North Carolina. It used to be that a half-hour drive was like, wow, that's a long way. And now it's like, hey, we almost do that for groceries every day.
So I forgot. Oh, I found it. I want to grab something really quick. Right here. Bill Brasky. Cursing doesn't bother me, but I love clean comedy. It's a skill. I am right there with you. It doesn't bother me either. I lived in a hockey locker room for 24 years.
Yeah, you've heard a few words.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah.
Out on the ice as well. Yeah.
So they don't bother me.
Can I interrupt just for a second?
Yes.
I had a job I was the cameraman at a hockey game. At a televised hockey game. So this is going out on the air on TV, and TV is live. Okay. Yeah. This isn't like, we're recording this to show next week, but they're like, hey, we'd like you to be the cameraman in the locker room. We've never done this before. During the break, in the locker room, you go in there and just show us the action, get in there. And I got in there and holy cow, the words, first of all, our team was like down by like 6 or something, which in hockey world is like the end of the world. Okay. It was the worst possible scenario. We're halfway through. Sticks are being chucked around. There's gear flying everywhere. Shoelaces are being snapped. Just like, and people, the people who are injured are like head into the shower. So half naked men are walking around. Here I am with the camera live on television. Okay, I have nobody to help me. The coach is down there and he's letting them have it. And they're like, we're going live to you. And I'm like, no, don't. Oh my goodness. It was so stressful because I have to have a shot. I mean, TV, you can't just put the camera down and run away. Yeah. I'm like, this is live, guys. No swearing. and they turned it down. I don't think they dropped any F-bombs, but every other word was a curse word. It was so bad. Okay, now go ahead. That was my hockey locker room story.
So hockey players are like 12-year-olds. They have great light switches. Like they're 12 running around. They're saying what they're saying with friends. And when they walk in the door, they know that switch goes off and they're good around their parents. Hockey players are the same way because media, we had a lot of media always trying to get in our locker room, especially after games, not always with cameras, but especially local newspaper and stuff like that. Just wanting to get stories, wanting to get reports. And, you've got a locker room, then you've got other rooms in this room that we're all going back and forth, workout rooms and everything else. So you're constantly the emotion from everything you're feeling to now, you're about to step foot into, open world. So anyways, that went down a rabbit hole. So Bill Brasky, cursing doesn't bother me, but I love clean comedy. It's a skill. Clean comedian. If you haven't heard him, he's amazing. He's actually won awards from this, but his name is Nate Bargatze. One of my favorites ever. Let me see here. Get a quick spelling. So it's Nate and then Bargatze. And he is absolutely hilarious. And he even did an interview of, I grew up in a fairly calm home and respectful home. So I have always just envisioned if I do a show, it would be appropriate for my mom and dad. And he doesn't miss a beat on any shows. It's incredible. So if you haven't heard of him, check him out. You'll laugh.
That's amazing. Yep, thanks for the lead. I'll check it out.
And Ripon says, that's it. Yep. Nate Bargatze.
Last thing you need in the locker room is a cameraman says, hold your horses. After post game, just trying to keep everything decent is just, a locker room's a locker room. There's a lot of changing and showering and everything else going on. And I don't know why they thought it would be good to send a camera down there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I got somebody fined a lot of money.
100%. If not with media, but with Kangaroo Court that every team holds. Anne Marie, that is awesome. I'm going to actually tune in. I played in that league from the Western side for the Prince George Cougars, actually. So I still like to follow it. And tomorrow night is night 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
So
junior major, I will tell you, when it comes to junior sports, I would love to take my equipment and some cameras and make a little league baseball game look like an ESPN matchup between the Yankees and the Red Sox. I would love to do that. I think that sort of thing. If I had the free time and the money to do that, to be able to take the little kids game where, you know, only their parents come and watch them and make a big production out of it.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
And what experience for the kids too, when they get to watch it after, you know.
Yep. Be cool. And of course, you know, there would also be some comedy in there because generally kids at that age generally don't know how to play sports, and it's all they can do to chase the ball at the same time. But
yeah, you definitely get a blooper reel out of that as well for the high production.
Yeah.
But well, what do we got? We've got 8:20. Scott, that's what I've got on the sheet for tonight.
Awesome.
Podcast. There's been some great questions. I know I have a flood in my Discord from others that when my Discord's back up, I'm going to take and keep because I want to do this again.
I missed Debbie's as well. I had Debbie's. Debbie, you sent me the questions. I don't know where they are. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry, Debbie. It's just here somewhere. It's just buried.
It's you get a trade out. Debbie's been begging for thunderstorms in Western Oklahoma, and she's getting them right now. Okay. So she's in a good place.
Good.
So we're okay.
Content Angel comes in and says, filming. Let's see, where is that? Filming kids
was a nightmare.
I saw that. Did you find that? I can't find it. There it is.
You got
filming. Oh, here it is. Filming kids is a pain. It's true. Never work with pets or kids. It is a pain. I will say this: they don't do what you expect them to do or what they're supposed to do. But I think if you can get like a little league championship baseball game and throw that on the camera, the big screen, have a big TV up, or even if it's just like a sheet hung up with a projector that people can watch it on and they can see themselves in the outfield, you know, out past the outfield, it would just be awesome.
Right. I agree.
Katrina. Oh. I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong side. Which one do you have?
Other software.
Oh, Homeschool Ground Zero's special guest one Friday. Pretty please.
I think it's a must.
I don't know.
We'll talk about it on the post-game show.
Okay, we'll have to do that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a short conversation.
No, click.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
We'll have to do this with you as well.
I'm open to it. Yeah. I don't have as much experience and knowledge and expertise to share. That's going to intrigue the audience, but I'll do it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. No, it's exciting. We have some fun stuff coming up. I'll say that not this week, but not next week, but the week after. I'm going to be in the woods. I'm going to be camping all week, and I'm trying to figure out how to make this all work. And of course, some hardware needs to show up so I can live stream. Otherwise, I'll be calling that manufacturer and saying, "Hey, send me your sample for a week because I need it now."
Right.
But yeah. Oh my goodness, Golden Misfit just gifted 10 memberships. 10 memberships. TTJC, Tabitha, Rev Minister, Jeff Williams, Wen VR, Ashley, Kippy Chicky, Kib Kitty, Katie, Joyful Heart, Natasha McDowell, all gifted memberships. Thank you very much for a super generous donation, Golden Misfit. I appreciate that.
Love it. The generosity of this group is just amazing. It's never ending. It started at 7:30 Central Time, and it's still going at 8:30 Central Time.
It's awesome. This group is great. I'm excited. Next week in our court case that we're following, it's going to be crazy. Monday is going to be, it starts early and it's going to be nuts. We've got just some real characters that are going to be on the stand. And I think we're probably well over halfway through the trial as far as the state goes. It's just not a big trial. It's not going to be a lot of expert witnesses and things like that we might get a few more police officers or something, but it's going to be fun, and we'll be on from there to new, bigger and better. Sarah Boone is not that far away as far as big cases go. That one's the end of towards the end of next month, and not too long after that, we're going to be talking about BK and possibly me going to BK and live streaming from there. So that'll be a lot of fun.
I got those Airbnbs bookmarked.
Yep, I got them right here. Thomas, thank you. I think I'm going to play the audio from my sound side. Does that work?
It does.
If I can find it. There it is. There it is. This has been a blast. Thomas, thank you so much for being such a gracious host and for being so easy on me on the interview questions.
Thanks for saying you want to put me in the hot seat and grill me with some questions. Sure, I'll do it. You didn't hesitate. You just took it on and you did it graciously. And you were so honest and open and humble. I enjoyed the heck out of tonight and hearing your feedback and everything. And I hope everyone in chat and the viewers did too. Tonight was a great podcast. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for all those who were who shared good thoughts, who shared memberships and everything else during the chat period. Yeah. You guys are amazing. Have a great weekend. Make some memories. Do something fun. Of course, hug someone you love. Smile at someone. Make their day just a little bit better. Stay safe. So we go live again on Monday morning at about 8:15. Thank you very much, Thomas. Have yourself a great weekend as well, my friend.
You do the same. And I'll see you first thing Monday morning.
All right. We'll see you.